All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest and some very exciting news. Utah is all but officially headed to the Big 12. It is not official yet. The announcement is expected to be made tomorrow, but Utah looks to be heading to the Big 12 as well as Arizona State. There's also a lot of other teams headed other directions in the Pac 12. Before we dive into all that, please do make sure you guys like the video. Also, comment down below, what do you guys think about the wild shakeup that has happened in the Pac 12? It's pretty clear at this point the Pac 12 is just over. There's not a lot of debate there. Maybe it'll become, say, the Pac in name, but it won't be the Pac 12 anymore. So the Pac 12 is basically over. What do you guys think about that, right? How many of the teams that are still in the Pac 12 will stay there? How does that work out? Is what it is. The Pac 12 as we know it is done. Utah is headed to the Big 12. Arizona State is going with them. We're going to break it all down. Also, make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are Big 12 fans watching the video, make sure you guys subscribe. I'm excited to interact with you guys and, get to know you guys a little bit. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about all the change up and what kind of happened with the Pac 12 today. Okay, guys. So, like I said, Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado all look to be headed to the Pac 12. It's not official, but it's almost a guarantee at this point that all four of those schools will be headed to the Big 12. So, super wild shakeup there. But on top of all that, Oregon and Washington have officially been accepted to the Big 10. All six of those teams leaving makes it the end of the Pac 12. Maybe it'll keep the name, the Pac, and somehow figure out how to get some group of fives. It's definitely not a Power Five conference at this point. So, with all those teams leaving, it's super exciting. What this means for Utah, guys, I'll just kind of, if you're a Utah fan or if you're a Big 12 fan, I think a lot of people are going to agree with this. So, the Big 12, what it has is a lot. It doesn't have the floor that the Pac 12 had, right? The Pac 12 had some really bad teams. It really did. It had some uh, teams that were really just not very competitive and were almost a given win every week. The Pac 12 also had some teams that were extremely good and were going to be clearly a defining moment for your season, right? Now, how I look at the Big 12 is I don't think the Big 12 has the floor or the ceiling that the Pac 12 had. The Big 12 has this really good middle to upper middle that is just an awesome group of teams where every week you need to be on your toes and you need to be ready for a dogfight, right? It's going to be a tough go every week. And when I say laydowns in the Pac 12, like obviously any given Saturday, any team could win. But you guys know the teams I'm talking about. I don't even have to name them, but there was a good chunk of teams in the Pac 12 that you knew you were going to win against, Colorado being the primary one the past season or two. But with the Big 12, you got this really good middle to upper middle and just a great group of teams. I think there's no one that's exceptionally good in the Big 12, right? The Pac 12 had Utah, we had Oregon, last year was USC and Washington. I'd say those four teams are as good, if not, maybe not USC, but the other three as good, if not better than any of the teams in the Pac 12, the Big 12 last year. And for sure, you had TCU, but I mean, we saw what happened when TCU went against the Georgia Bulldogs. Obviously, the same thing happened to Oregon. I'm not denying that. And TCU did beat Michigan. So maybe you could make the argument that TCU might have been better than Utah, Oregon, and Washington last year. But outside of that, I think it's pretty safe to say Utah, Oregon, and Washington were just as good, if not better, than every team other than TCU in the Big 12. So I don't want to harp on that. I hope Big 12 fans don't get too offended by that. That's not the intention of it. I'm just saying Utah comes in as an at top of the cream of the crop in the Big 12. It's going to be a really good contender right away, right? When we get to the Big 12, we'll probably be looking at a new starting quarterback, right? Maybe that's Isaac Wilson, maybe that's Nate Johnson, maybe that's Brandon Rose. A lot of questions there, but we'll have a solid base to become a great team. Maybe it's not year one, but very likely we'll be winning conference championships quite quickly in the Big 12. right? And that's not a shot at the Big 12. The Big 12 should be excited to have Utah. I know a lot of the Twitter interactions haven't been fantastic, right? I know I've seen a lot of fighting, right? A lot of back and forth, but we're going to be with you guys now. And I'm excited to play you guys. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have Big 12 channels, and maybe I'll do some collab videos with them. We'll see. But I'm excited to break down all the teams and the matchups. I think Big 12 plays Utah type of football, kind of smash mouth. Obviously, a lot of great passing teams, but I mean, just the mentality of the teams, just tough teams that go out there, and football means a ton to them. That's what Utah is. Football, like anyone that hasn't been in Utah, you should know Utah high school football is. I've been around the country quite a bit, and I appreciate good high school football. Utah's up there with a lot of different states, dude. Like maybe they're not at the Georgia, Florida, California level, but Utah has some good football teams, dude, and produces a lot of really good players. Utah as a school alone has a stack of NFL guys. We put out our pro Utes sheet the other day from the main Utah football page. And there was like 20 guys on that sheet that are playing in the NFL right now. So not only are we getting guys into the NFL, getting a lot of guys drafted, but they last, right? A good chunk of them are staying in the NFL and making careers out of it. So really exciting. Just kind of to, to touch the final note is just I'm really excited about this. I think the Big 12 is going to be great for Utah. From what I understand, we're getting a full share. BYU only got half a share, so that's a bonus. Big brother Utah gets the win there. But I'm excited to have that Holy War rivalry every year. I think that's going to be awesome for in-state recruiting. I'm just super excited. A lot of good teams in the Big 12. We're coming over with a group of teams. Utah is clearly the best team out of Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado coming over here. So we should be able to come in, make an impact right away. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do make sure you guys drop it a like. Also, comment down below. What do you guys think, whether you're Big 12, whether you're Utah fans, whatever? What do you guys think Utah will do when they first get into the Big 12? And make sure you guys subscribe. I'm excited to interact with you guys, whether you are a Utah fan or not. I think it's going to be a really fun new era of college football for Utah, and I'm excited to experience it in the Big 12. Outside of that, I'm out of here, and go Utes.